Hey, welcome to Strip Breads. I am Mike, your host, and as promised, we are back at Scribner Salvage. This is the third yard. This is the one way outside of town, out in the pasture. This is the one that we call the farm. So when I say, hey, we're going out to the farm to do something, this is it. So out here in these hills, let me show you. Out here in these hills, way out back are maybe 200 old cars, some later model stuff, but most of it's old. This whole landscape has changed quite a bit in the last 10 years. As a matter of fact, the road used to go straight through there. Now it goes up this hill, so we're gonna have to figure out how to get back there. I've got my hubs locked on the old heap here, and we're going to find out what's changed. I haven't been out here in at least 5 years, so yeah, let's go check them out. We're not going to be doing any willet runs or anything like that this episode, but we'll at least drive through and check out some of the cars. We might get out and walk some, but this is not going to be as big an episode as the last one, so we'll see. Okay, so forgive the shakiness of the camera. We have found the original road, and as you can see, nobody's been on it for a very long time. There's kind of a drop off over here. It's enough that, especially right there, if I drove off that, I'd flip the Jeep over. Let's see some tire marks here that are a little more recent. Through the crops. Unfortunately, the crops are all around. So I'm gonna have to find a different road in here. Alrighty, well, sometimes it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. So, here we are, coming in. This truck right here, this one we are going to get out and take some pictures of it. Alright, this is a 57 International A108, I believe. I'm not a big international guy, but my buddy Puddin is. The story on this truck, from what I understand, this is a Golden Jubilee. They made them in 1957 only. And supposedly they made one pickup for every one of their dealers. So there might only be 500 of these trucks that were ever made. It's basically just your standard deluxe step-side pickup, but then they've got these bedsides on them. And you can see they're just kind of sheet metal screwed to the step side box. This thing is incredibly rare. It's rough. It's not, completely a lost cause. I mean, that back bumper alone right there is pretty rare. Cab corner rot. It's gotten significantly worse over the years. And dirt dauber nest. Yeah, it's rusty over the cab. It needs a cab. Floorboards are gone. Windows gone. The basic seat frame's still there. The engine stock that's in it is a 6-cylinder inline. These trucks were available white and gold or black and gold. Same paint scheme. Hood's rusted out. Front fender's got a do on it. Front bumper's a bit bent. The grill was chromed. Obviously, it's not anymore. Windshield's busted, back window's busted, although the back window's gotten busted in recent years, as well as the side windows. I don't think it's too far gone. Jim does have another cab down in the lower level. I'll show it to you later. It's off of a newer truck, but still has the basic cab shape. Yeah, there's a rust hole there. So I think you could modify it to the 57 style. It's just a shame that this one's sitting here rotting. That old Ford there, that thing was a pretty well complete truck. And just over the years, it's gotten less and less and less parts on it. This is the hood off of it. Of course, I had to park right here at a big old red ant hill, so let's hope none of them find their way inside here. Okay, somebody has been out here moving things around, because all of these cars you see here were right here where I'm parked. You see a pile of tires there. I don't know why they're moving things. Doesn't make any sense. You got your Regal, a lot of people like. Cutlass Supreme, old GMC 63 Chevy. Rambler there. I tried to get it going, but the engine's stuck. And it's got a lot of chassis rot. And yeah, later model Chevy Impala, an old LTD Gran Torino. That one has a lot of rust. We got this Buick Special. It's not a Skyline, it's just a Special. It's got a nail head V6 in it. And the timing chain and everything is off. Chrysler next to it has a 400 in it. Somebody taking a distributor, so that's not even way to get it going. The Ranchero next to it was really rusty. The old Pontiac I've never actually messed with. This 58 Chevy here is a Del Rey. That one I almost bought. It's a complete car. The engine was missing the top end. It's an inline 6. But the body on it was great. But those guys from Norway or wherever they came through, they pulled the front clip off of it and pulled all the side trim off. And away it went. Now this Coronet here had a Hemi in it. And that Hemi is sitting in our former mayor's bucket, empty bucket. But then those guys got the front clip and they got the trim and whatever else off of it. And then there's an old Fairmont over there, an old Fox body 4-door. Nothing special other than the fact that it's got the Pinto 2.3 in it, which is kind of a rare option for those. Before you start thinking that it had to have been gutless, once upon a time, a friend of mine bought one, just an absolute stripped down base model with a 4-speed. And then he had my Fairmont. Oh, something over. My Fairmont with the inline 6 and automatic, and that little 4th cylinder with 400,000 miles on it would run circles around my 6. That was the trunk of this, but it already had a big huge dent in the back of it from somebody with a loader bucket pushing it. I remember that. So you've got a Corvair wagon that was incredibly rusty. Like the whole back end of it, you can pick it up. It wasn't attached anymore. Another one of those old Cutlass Supremes. 777. Pretty rough. Lincoln Town car. There's a Chrysler Fifth Avenue way up here. We're gonna go ahead and get out here. I want to show you guys this. Not this Taurus. Nobody cares about a Taurus. Some people care about Tauruses. Or is it Tauri? I don't know. Let's see here. This Canyon, a truck was sitting too close to the edge and washed out, and it fell in there and it's been in there forever. And that truck was junk anyway. It was really rotten. couch. People dumping stuff. This old's in pretty good shape here. Subaru that the fire department got a hold of. This car, there was a gal that worked at Walmart, used to drive it. I don't know why she junked it though, I never really messed with it. That LTD over there was like a 40,000 mile original car. I got T-boned real hard, right on the back wheel. Let's see, where is that EXP? Oh, it's up there, okay. So we got this early K car, has a Mitsubishi 2.6 in it. Spy whites here, and that Escort belonged to Jim's dad. Another Cutlass Supreme, old cop car, Caprice, mid-80s. Now this Ranchero and that Ranchero and that Ford and the other one were all over there, and that is the one Chrysler I was talking about with the missing distributor. It actually ended up over here somehow. I'm not sure why. That Omni on the other side of the Cutlass Supreme, I don't know if you guys can see it here, that Omni, that one has a Volkswagen engine in it. That's a very early one. It's very rusty. That one I actually had running. I was leaking gas real bad, so I didn't run it very long. And that Maverick was incredibly rusty. That's the one that I took all the brake parts off of and the 5-lug parts to put on that Comet. Let's go drive over there. Yeah, all these cars right here were all over there. I have no idea why they moved them. This guy here could definitely be restored. It's got some filler. It's got some rust in the lower quarters there. I mean, how rare is that shell? I don't know, maybe it doesn't even fit it. Yeah, I see a bit more rust on this side, but it really isn't that bad. It's got a small block in it, probably 2 to 3. Yeah, see, that guy got a hard hit. 500, I think. You know, it'd be interesting if this thing turned out to be like an old cop car or something. The red paint, though, blows that theory. The extra chrome trim. That's a Galaxy 500. This one wasn't a cop car. Just kind of a plain Jane one, though. Just interesting, though, because you got filler here. This could have been an antenna hole. You got filler there in the roof. Yeah. Who knows? This is that Chrysler. It's kind of neat. Not like I need any more crap, but that old Buick's pretty cool too. This is that Omni. I pulled the dashboard out of it because I was going to put it in one of the Crickets and then got around to it. Ended up just throwing it away. It's full of old computers. Anybody need some 286s? Those door handles there are the same. That's what the Cricket uses. This car here, it doesn't look bad. It's got a locked up 250 in it, a C4, but you see the rot there. And in the back, it's all rotten, and the floors are gone. That old Fox body there is a locked up inline 6. This guy. This thing here is kind of neat. I like it. It's not in too bad a shape. Body's pretty straight. It was originally silver. Somebody painted it red poorly. Little frog eye. EXP. It's got a 1.6 in it. So this is the one I used to drive around. Ah, somebody's got the damn air cleaner off of it. Fuel line was dripping back there and I didn't want it to catch on fire, so last time I ever messed with it. You can see the way the paint's peeling off around all the trims. Pretty good little dent there in that door and a little bit of rot there, and the floorboards are starting to get rotten. I might have drugged this one home, but trying to find parts for it would be kind of tough. That old Dodge there, I took so many parts off of that truck for Jim's truck, for my truck. Old Cadillac. So This is what we call the upper level. It's just kind of a stash up here, a four-door Nova. You know, there's the main brunt of it is down there. You can't really, you can kind of see the roof of something sticking up there. We just got to figure out how to get over there. Oh. So as you may have noticed, I'm a little under the weather. Christy had COVID within the last couple of weeks, and Luke and I didn't get it, but I ended up with this cold, cough, but no COVID. So, let's see. This car actually used to be a Taxicab. Because it was, I think it was white originally, or it might have been burgundy. There we go. It was burgundy, and then it was that yellow, Taxicab yellow, and then it was white. See the yellow? And somebody did something scorpion etched in the excuse me. Alrighty, so now we're going to try to figure out how to get down to the lower level. Good look at some things. Alrighty, any creatures crawling on me? I don't see anything. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, we're just coming into it. You got cars all over here, and then up and around. I just need to make sure I can even make it in here. Oh yeah, no problem. This had all washed out. You couldn't get in here. Now it's kind of leveled out some. So, can I tell you about some stuff? There's a ranchero right here that ran and drove. Actually had it running, but somebody had cut the brake lines and pinched them off, so he had a good hard pedal, but no brakes. And it's got a lot of rot. That old Dodge over there was my parts donor. I got a lot of parts off of Jim for that, from that. This thing used to have sides on it, and I think they all kind of rotted and just fell down. This old service body on the Sport is really neat, but it's really rusty too. There is a Plymouth Fury out there. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to get to it. Rambler. There used to be another Rambler up on its side. Oh, that is the one that was on its side. There's another one in front of it over here that was in pretty good shape. Let's get down in there and take a look. There's that Ranchero. There's all kinds of things here. Granada, his brakes came off of that and went on Buddy Luke's truck car. There's that Rambler. This thing was actually in really good shape, almost no rust. We had it stuck in about a 64, 65 American automatic 196 overhead valve. This one is a 196. I think it was a flathead. It may not be. It had the overdrive 3-speed. The engine stuck in that one too. Little Falcon here, and it's pretty rough. And a bunch of full-size cars, Cadillacs, Pontiacs, Chevy, Impalas, Caprices, a couple, I got 59, 60 Ford pick-em-ups, Comet wagon. Those are really rare. That one donated a couple parts for my thing. You got a Nova wagon body that, if I remember correctly, was actually really solid, but it's just the body. There's no chassis, there's no front clip, none of that. It's just the body there. And there's old Henry J. It used to be a gasser, and that's not what you see right now. That's all that's left of it. It's just a shell. That was a buddy of mine's Thunderbird. Pulled the engine, tranny, and the seats out of it, and junked it. Corvair, early Corvair 4-door. SS Nova, 65 Comet. There's a Pontiac Ventura. Huh. Somebody pulled the hood off of it. I wonder if they yanked the engine. That Vega would run and drive. It had a bad fuel pump. The guy that owned it got real sick. He couldn't drive anymore, and so he just junked it. Another Comet wagon. There's a, you can't hardly see it. There's a 62 Valiant in there, but that, I don't remember if I mentioned it before. That car, you can see that it had been wrecked. It looks like they acetylene welded a new core support in it, but on the passenger side, between the fender and between the back of the door, there's no gap. So the whole chassis was pushed back, firewall and everything. Buick Special there. That's another one that's missing the timing components. Let's see, over here we had that Rambler. That Rambler has a torque tube, meaning that the transmission, the rear axle is basically bolted to the transmission. The transmission in that car is broken in half, so that's really rusty. Got a little unibody Ford there. And like I said in the other video, the first video, Jim's got an affinity for 57 Ford, so there's one over there. There's a pretty decent 59 Ford, and another 57, another 57 Chevy. Got a couple of these Mercuries with those guys from Norway. Like that one was complete. Pretty good shape. They took the front clip. DeSoto carryall. So it's got the wood. The seat bolts down and it's got the wood and the chrome slat so you can haul cargo with it. Kind of neat. He's got two of those. This is the nice one here. I don't remember where that boat came from. Or that Chevy. That Coronet back there is wrecked really bad. There's another 57 Ford. Another El Camino. Cordoba. Someone's been out here shooting. It's a shame. Shooting up all the good cars. That 64 Chevy, that's that Biscayne, I think. It's the one he took the front clip with him, but that car had a very good body on it. The 68 Dart GT that's totaled. A nice round hole in the windshield. Let you guess where that came from. This little Chevy van here. It's kind of neat. Another 58 Chevy. That one had a lot of rust over the eyebrows. Now this Ford here, I had it running. It had a lot of lifter noise, but it had been sitting here for 20 years. A 390 in it. Remember the story I told about that yellow one in the first video? That guy popped the door off of this one, so it's got rust in the lower quarters. Everything's still grown up. I don't know where to drive anymore. That Fairlane right there, 67 Fairlane 4-door, had a 289 and 3-speed on the column. That one ran. But then somebody came out here and bought a bunch of pieces off of it. I don't think anything's any good anymore. Old wagon here. It's neat. That Ford got moved. That Ford used to be over here somewhere. Huh, weird. So, 57 Ford ranch wagon, 2-door ranch wagon. I think he wanted $1,000 for it, but that's been years, so I don't know what he wants for it now. Biscayne I mentioned was right there, and it's gone. So someone's been looking up targets and shooting them. Well, maybe they moved it there. We'll take a look. Better if they were shooting those targets than shooting up, you know, cars. A couple town cars here, just late model crap, late model crap, late model crap. He's got a Blazer right here that's upside down, but it's all rotten. There's nothing of value left of it. Little Chevy, parts on Fifth Avenue. A lot of those parts went home with me. Oh, I wonder who grabbed the door open. Okay, Cadillac. It's a two-door Ford 500. Okay, we're gonna hop out here. Now this is my honey hole. These cars all once belonged to me. I traded them to Jim for various parts or whatever. This Colt, here I got it from an old man. They were getting, you know, he was dying and they were cleaning up his property and the scrappers were coming out. So I made a deal with him to buy this car, and before we could finalize it, he'd passed. But his daughter was cool and she told them not to crush this one, and I went and picked it up. I got it running. He told me that he bought it and ran it for a few years, and then the engine blew up, and so they put a truck engine in it. And it turns out the truck engine they put in it was a 2.6. So I got it running. I drove it home from Woodward. It was about 75 miles away. And this thing hauled butt. I mean, it had power, but it smoked really bad. And it burned all 4 quarts of oil between there and here. And it's got a lot of rust in the chassis rails. Not a whole lot in the body. And there's one spot up here in the roof. But, yep. Now my plan, I need to measure. I don't have a measuring tape with me, but I want to see what it would take to put this roof. I'll need the roof to cut it off, you know, here. Cut it off here. I'll probably actually cut it off down there, just so I can have the B pillar here. And I'll need all this down to about here. And then I don't want to use taillights, but I will. But I also need all the interior panels, metal panels anyway, not the other stuff. I'll have to take this headliner board with me at least. And I want to graft it onto the Green Cricket. The Green Cricket's chassis is shot. The roof is shot. Putting that sunroof in it weakened it so much. Everything's cracking. So since I got to put a roof skin on it anyway, why not experiment and put this roof on it? I don't want to use the Colt taillights because too many people already think a Plymouth Cricket is a Dodge Colt, and then outside of Canada, it's not true. But the shape of the rear end here, I'll have to do a bunch of repair work, but the shape here, do something with taillights, maybe get some from England or something, and graft this roof section in the top of the fenders. Inside panels, the whole inside panels. But I'm going to do the chassis swap on the Celica thing first. If I can pull that off successfully, then I'll know I can do this. This Dodge Pioneer, I thought this would be as close to a DeSoto as I could get. I got this car from Jim. It had a big hole in the block through number 6 rod. It had sucked the gasket from the oil pump, so it was just sucking air, it wasn't sucking oil. I tried to drive it out of here, but it threw another rod and it threw a third rod, and at that point it would run barely. You can see the interior was, the panels here were decent. And I started chopping out all the rusty floors, and I patched some of them. And so what happened? Why did I give up on it? Well, I got my DeSoto. And so this thing donated quite a few of its parts to that project. The windshield. I was going to try to use the windshield in it, and you know, all the books say it won't fit, but I laid it in there and it lined up perfectly, so I don't know what the deal was on that, but the wind blew it over before I had a chance. The wiring harness, complete wiring harness and dashboard are going in my car. But I traded it back to Jim for other things, and here it sits. This Corolla. Now in the last video I spoke about a guy called Cecil Shepard, the guy that had that B210, the guy I got the B210 from. Well, he had this. In 1979 he went to an auction, he bought this. It had been in a minor fender bender. And he located parts. Well, Cecil, you know, he's not a man of means by any stretch of the imagination. And catch my breath here. Import cars are pretty rare out here anyway. So the parts to fix this, I'm sure were few and far between. And then he probably bought things that were cheaper. As you can see, the damage was limited just to this real outside edge here. This is a 71 Corolla wagon. They were all two doors in America here. This is a 74 Fender. The only real big difference, besides where the trim is located, is this parking light and this little strip of rubber, because they had these huge ugly ass bumpers and this little rubber kind of tied it together. In the back here, I've got a grill. I've got a 73, 74 grill. I've got the 74 lower valance that has some damage, needs to be fixed. A 73 upper valance. I've got the 71 bumper. I've got a 71 Corolla Mark or Mark II, Mark whatever grill. Ended up in here somehow. I got a Valiant transmission. Oh, what the hell's biting me? There is a headlight eyebrow from a 72 in here. I thought there was a 71 grill as well. Just a whole hodgepodge of parts, and everything in here isn't great. Like, you know, this thing here, you can see it needs a bunch of work, you know. But this car, I did get it running. It was stuck. I got it running. It doesn't hardly have any miles on it. It was parked in 79 when it got wrecked. But the it does have some rust. Lower quarters, and then over the wheel wells, and then the front part of the quarters here. You see, the rockers are gone. The inner frame rails are gone. The inner fenders are gone. It's done. It's not worth saving. But I did run, and I'll probably come out here and do another, you know, will it run on it. Floorboards. It's a shame too, because I love these old Corollas. It's really gone bad sitting out here. When he had it, was sitting under a tree, so at least it was somewhat protected from the sun. The hood is wasted. I'm not going to make the hood right now. This Pinto I bought from a guy. He had it parked in some town somewhere, and a trash truck came down the road and hooked the car and dragged it down the road and hit a couple other cars with it. So the doors caved in, and the front clip was just mangled. But he had bought a front clip for it. And you see it's pretty rusty. I got it for $50. But it was a running, driving car when parked. So I hauled it home, put the new body parts on it. I don't think that fender was bad, but I went ahead and changed it anyway since I had a matching set. And this hood is not the original hood for this car. Somebody, when it was out here, somebody had stolen the transmission out of it. I bet they thought it was a T5. They were stupid. But anyway, so I got it running. This car was loaded, by the way. It had air conditioning, power steering, and all that stuff. Got it running, and it missed, had a dead hole, a complete dead hole, and it would just puff, 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 blow by out of the valve cover. So it had a hole in the piston, and it's not worth messing with. You can see this rust here. Bad spot. Sit out here and relax and smile at yours. But yeah, these cars all belong to Jim now, but I'm sure if I need something off him, he'll let me take it, or he'll sell it to me cheap, like this roof. I did pull the transmission out of this thing 3 years ago. for another cult wagon I had, but when we decided to move back to, well, the Midwest here, I got rid of the car because, you know, it's distracting me from the projects I really want to keep. So, I have to come out here with my Sawzall, jack this thing up, flip it over, go to town. Okay. So, you know, inline 6 in this Ranchero here. That one belonged to Perrin. That was his parts truck. You know, most of the stuff over here is just late model crap. I wouldn't doubt if some of these Cadillacs could be run or put back on the road, but they've been out here for 20 years. This was a 6-cylinder in 3-speed on the column. Somebody could do something with it. But maybe in the springtime. Yeah, I don't see a way to get back there, so. He used to have like all these were organized, you know, in a line at some point. People come in and just dump stuff, take stuff most of the time. There's another 61 Ford. I really wanted this Rambler, but I ended up actually finding one that was almost identical. This thing, again, used to be white. I even built a model of this car. And then a few years later, I got the real thing. So I got mine from the original owners. And this is the guy's dad's. And I mean, this guy was probably 7 years old. There's that Vega. His mom's car, and his dad drove it when she got a new one. But he used a lot of oil. Smoked some, he used a lot of oil. And then the oil pressure started getting low. So I decided it was time to, that was about the time we were moving back to Washington, so I decided it was time to get something else because I didn't think it would make the trip, and if it did make the trip, it wouldn't survive long afterward. Plus, you know, the thing leaked like a sieve when it rained. I spent a lot of time straightening out the floors, welding up the floors and the inner rockers and all that stuff. I didn't want to go through all that again. I traded it for the Valiant. There's that Chevy 2 wagon. There's that Comet wagon. All these full-size Chevys here. Cadillacs, Buicks, Olds. 65 Fury, big block car over there. I'm pretty sure it's a 361, but it could be a 383. Alrighty. So like I said, when the weather isn't, or the weeds aren't so tall, and I'm not sick, and we'll come back out here and we'll walk through all the cars and check them out. You know, this thing here had a 351 modified in it, but you can see the paint on the front fender, how it looks pretty nice, and then the door looks like crap, and that quarter looks like crap, and the roof looks pretty nice, even though it had a vinyl top. And you see all that filler in the B-pillar there. Yep, that car's had a whole side put on it from the fender back. They replaced the door, they replaced the quarter panel. Alrighty, well, we're gonna drive up on out of here, and I'll check in with you when we get back to the road. So that's it. This is the R3. This is the big one. Although it looks like some of the cars might even be missing. I don't know. They're all been moved around. If you like what you see, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. There'll be more content coming. We're going to come back out and get some of these cars started. If you guys want to see more detail on some of the cars, I might be able to do that too. And, you know, some of this brush, you know, weeds gets knocked down. But that's it for the night. We're going to call it a night. I should have the yard number 2 video up tonight. And then next week, you guys will be watching this one. You take care.